Good morning. I'm having my coffee. And actually, it's nighttime, but I'll be releasing this in the morning. So, through the magic of video, good morning. I should be having my keto friendly salad for dinner and getting ready to retire to the stateroom in there and continue my marathon watching of all 9 seasons of The Walking Dead in preparation for season 10. But something interesting finally happened. So I want to talk to you about Governor Cuomo. Let me share the screen with you here. You know, I get the New York Times so that you won't have to. And here it says at the New York Times, I'm going to say yesterday. Actually, it's today, but for the sake of this being morning, yesterday, they said this. Cuomo says he won't bow to cancel culture and rejects calls to resign. Nearly all of the Democrats in New York's congressional delegation, including Senators Chuck Schumer and Kirsten Gillibrand, say that Governor Andrew Cuomo has lost the ability to govern. You know you're in bad shape when this is the photo of you that the New York Times posts. Talk about a photo of a guy that looks like he just got caught grabbing a girl's ass. All right. That's the one that they've given up on him when that's the photo they show. Facing a deluge of calls to resign from New York's U.S. senators and the majority of its House Democrats, Governor Andrew M. Cuomo made it clear Friday he had no intention of quitting, deriding the mounting pressure from his own party as cancel culture and insisting that he would not bow to it. The calls first came in a coordinated barrage of statements released in the morning from more than a dozen House members, most of the state's Democratic delegation, including Representatives Gerald Nadler, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. The statement was clear. Mr. Cuomo has lost the ability to govern and must leave office. By the end of the day, Senator Chuck Schumer, the majority leader, and Senator Kirsten Gillibrand had also called on Mr. Cuomo to step down. Due to the multiple credible sexual harassment and misconduct allegations, it is clear that Governor Cuomo has lost the confidence of his governing partners and the people of New York, the senator said in a joint statement late Friday afternoon. Governor Cuomo should resign. That sounds pretty clear, doesn't it? It was a remarkable moment for Mr. Cuomo, a third-term Democrat who won national acclaim last year during the early months of the pandemic, but is now confronting multiple investigations and the threat of impeachment over a string of sexual harassment allegations. And his attempt to obscure the virus-related death toll in nursing homes. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be laughing at death tolls in nursing homes. Just shows you how far gone I am. By day's end, he was almost entirely isolated. The governor responded with defiance, a surprise in a traditional political sense, given that other elected officials have resigned in the face of far less unanimous sentiment. But it also marked a return to form for the pugilistic governor, a fighter, this one, who last week had struck a more conciliatory, apologetic tone in addressing the harassment allegations. In a hastily arranged news conference after the House members issued their calls, Mr. Cuomo quickly rejected the demands for him to step down and denied harassing or abusing anyone. He lashed out at the lawmakers for jumping to conclusions, calling them reckless and dangerous. We always knew they were reckless and dangerous. About time you caught on. I would show you a clip or a snippet or whatever from that press conference, but all that's online as of this writing is audio only. I did not do what has been alleged, period, Mr. Cuomo said. The sudden mass defection of members of Mr. Cuomo's own party marked one of the most stinging rebukes of a sitting governor in the state's history, prompting new questions about his ability to weather the most severe political crisis of his decade-long tenure. Governor Cuomo has lost the confidence of the people of New York, said Mr. Nadler, the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee and one of the highest-ranking members of Congress. Quote, Governor Cuomo must resign. Where have we heard that before? This is looking pretty unanimous. But Mr. Cuomo suggested hours later that his fellow New York Democrats pressing for his resignation were doing so because of, quote, political expediency, unquote, and without knowing any facts and substance. Several women, some of them, I think it's 6 now, isn't it? Is it 6 women now? Several women, some of them current or former state employees, have accused the governor of sexual harassment or inappropriate behavior, including an unidentified aide who this week said Mr. Cuomo groped her in the executive mansion. I wonder what room it was. Was it the game room or a bathroom or the kitchen? Because in the kitchen, you could put up with little groping, I think. But in the bathroom or game room, something's up. Last month, Lindsey Boylan, a former administration official, said the governor gave her an unsolicited kiss on the lips. She only likes solicited kisses, thank you. And Charlotte Bennett, a former aide who is 25, said the governor had asked her invasive questions, such as whether she had sex with older men. I mean, I ask that question sometimes, but I always know I'm wrong too. All right. As members of his own party and former allies turned against him, Mr. Cuomo, a 40-year veteran of New York politics and the son of a former governor, also sought to make his isolation into a virtue, suggesting that he was being punished because he was, quote, not part of the political club, unquote. And you know what he said? I'm proud of it. Who could be more of a political insider than the son of Mario Cuomo? And your brother is a anchorman on CNN. I mean, talk about being sewed in. Mr. Cuomo said he was determined to continue, quote, doing my job, unquote. But that seemed imperiled by both political opposition in Albany and elsewhere. The day began with a rapid succession of statements from the members of Congress issued through emailed news releases or Twitter. And you know, Twitter, when something hits Twitter, that is pretty much the end of your life. With many of them citing the most recent allegations of sexual misconduct against the governor to justify their demand for his resignation. Representative Carolyn Maloney, a longtime member of Congress who chairs the powerful House Oversight Committee, said she admired the women who have spoken about claims of harassment by the governor, linking their disclosures to the #MeToo movement. You know, she's got a point. As long as you are linked to the #MeToo movement, then we have to believe you, don't we? Oh, okay. I was rooting for the governor until now, but he's got to go because these people are linked to the Me Too movement. So long, sailor. We have come a long way, but now is the time to finally ensure that this generation's courage stops harassment once and for all, Ms. Maloney said in a statement. Also calling for Mr. Cuomo to step down on Friday were, oh my God, look at this list of names. Representatives Jamal Bowman, Yvette Clarke, Antonio Delgado, Adriano Espaillat, Brian Higgins, Mondaire Jones, Sean Patrick Maloney, Grace Meng, Joe Morell, Paul Tonka, Richie Torres, and Nidia M. Velasquez. Another House Democrat, Kathleen Rice of Long Island, had already asked Mr. Cuomo to resign. So anyway, this is really just an just goes on and on. I don't know if we need to put you through any of this. So, okay, well, I get this so you don't have to. So here's a screenshot for you. If you want to read this, you can. Anyway, he's pretty well cooked. Oh, here's a good paragraph. The backlash from New York Democrats is a troubling sign for Mr. Cuomo, who effectively controls the state party and has been perhaps the state's most famous politician during his time in office, particularly since the beginning of the pandemic when his virus briefings became must-watch television. And his name was whispered as a possible presidential contender or possibly Emmy winner, which of course he did win an Emmy, didn't he? I mean, really, that was destination TV. It was just that good. It was like people all over the country were just like toggling back and forth between that daily briefing and Tiger King. It was pretty much one or the other. Oh, okay. Well, anyway, let me close this out. So that's the gist of it. Something interesting finally happened today. I watched the presidential address last night because, we only have one president at a time. And, I was a big Biden supporter. Anyway, I watched the president's speech as much as I could stand. And of course, he started off acting as if he was the only one ever involved in fighting COVID. And it was pretty much a COVID speech because he was there to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of COVID. We made it, guys. We kept the shutdowns going for an entire year. So obviously they were all very excited to come to the 1-year mark. It's a milestone for all of us, don't you think? Anyway, he started off just blaming, everybody we're in denial. No one believed it. I don't think it was the Republicans who were going down to Chinatown and hugging everybody. But anyway, he's pretending that it's been him. I've been reading 1984 and the whole thing of having a whole giant building full of, drab, gray functionaries rewriting history over and over again, and occasionally, wadding something up and putting it down the memory hole to the fires below. Oh my God, it's so much like that. And he's rewriting history in real time to make himself into the hero of the pandemic. I mean, it's amazing how he just came into office and immediately we have all these vaccines. It has nothing to do with President Trump, does it? Anyway, I get the New York Times, so you don't have to. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, subscribe to our channel and then click the little bell to get notifications.